Finding the perfect partner, building a successful career, and creating a beautiful family is something most young women dream of. Dr. Elana Fric was no different. A brilliant family physician who met a charismatic, accomplished neurosurgeon during her medical studies in Ottawa. Two respected doctors, living the Canadian dream with 3 beautiful children and thriving careers. But what seemed like the perfect medical power couple would soon turn into a murder that exposed the horrifying reality behind a carefully constructed facade. On the morning of November 30th, 2016, Elana Fric waited anxiously by her phone in Windsor, Ontario. Every day, without fail, her daughter Dr. Elana Fric would call her, but not today. The phone remained silent. By evening, Anna's worry had turned to panic. At 40 years old, Elana was a respected family physician at Scarborough Hospital, a devoted mother of 3, and the kind of daughter who never missed her daily check-in with her parents. Something was terribly wrong. When Anna called Toronto police to report her daughter missing, she had no way of knowing that Elena's body was already lying lifeless in a suitcase, dumped by the Humber River, 35 kilometers north of Toronto. The man responsible, her own husband, Dr. Mohammed Shamji, a world-renowned neurosurgeon who had killed his wife just 2 days after she served him with divorce papers. This is the story of a marriage that fooled everyone, a medical power couple whose perfect life was nothing but a deadly illusion. Elana Christine Fric was born on August 17, 1976, in Windsor, Ontario, to Croatian immigrants Josip and Anna Fric. Her parents had come to Canada with hopes of building a better life, working on the assembly lines at Chrysler and General Motors auto plants. After suffering 2 miscarriages and being told she'd likely never have another child, Anna was finally blessed with Elana, considered a miracle by her parents. Anna would later tell the court, Elana was the child that every parent could hope for. Raised in Tecumseh near Windsor, Elana was described as a precocious little girl, spending most of her free time reading, and an erudite overachiever who practiced Croatian dancing. She excelled academically through St. Peter Elementary and St. Anne High School, working summers in cornfields outside Windsor. Elana was a distance runner with caramel hair, high cheekbones, long nose, and blue eyes that squinted into crescent moons when she smiled. After completing her undergraduate degree at University of Windsor, she entered the University of Ottawa Faculty of Medicine in 1999, graduating with her MD in 2003. She completed her family medicine residency at University of Ottawa in 2006 and earned a master's degree in public policy from Duke University's Sanford School in 2008. By 2015, Dr. Fric had become a family physician at Scarborough Hospital with over 1,000 patients, serving as an assistant professor of medicine at University of Toronto and as a District 11 delegate for the Ontario Medical Association. Her specialties included health policy, global health, equitable care for vulnerable populations, women's health, and refugee health. Dr. Larry Ehrlich, her medical director, called her a first-class family doctor and shining star, saying, "I was grooming her to be another leader, maybe replace me." Mohammed Shamji came from radically different circumstances. His father, Dr. Farid Shamji, was a distinguished thoracic surgeon at University of Ottawa and member of the Ottawa Gentry, with an award named after him in the university's surgery department. Mohammed attended the elite Ashbury College School in Ottawa before earning an MSc in organic chemistry from Yale University in 1999. He graduated from Queen's University Medical School in 2003, winning the class gold medal, then completed a neurosurgery residency at University of Ottawa and a PhD in biomedical engineering from Duke University. By 2012, Shamji had become a staff neurosurgeon and surgeon scientist at Toronto Western Hospital, serving as assistant professor of surgery at University of Toronto. He specialized in minimally invasive and complex spinal surgery, performing over 1,000 surgeries, hundreds of them life-saving. Despite his professional success, colleagues described him as shy, superior, and reserved, impossibly thin, awkward, and uncertain of what to do with his hands, sometimes wearing a pinched, even pained expression. The couple met in 2003 in the Ottawa Hospital rec room when Elana was playing pool, and Mohammed, a neurosurgery resident, spotted her. Early warning signs emerged immediately. Mohammed didn't take the relationship seriously, continued seeing another woman from medical school, and barely made an effort to meet her friends. Many friends couldn't understand what she saw in him. When he didn't attend Elana's medical school graduation, claiming illness but later being seen out with friends, Elana broke up with him twice within their first year, though he persuaded her to return both times. The couple had 2 wedding ceremonies in 2004. The first, on September 1st, 2004, was a traditional Ismaili ceremony in Ottawa, where Elana, nearly 5 months pregnant, had her hands tattooed with ornate henna. The class divide between their families was stark. Elena's guests were mostly blue-collar relatives, while Mohammed's were distinguished members of the medical community. The second ceremony was Catholic, held at St. Francis of Assisi Croatian Catholic Church in Windsor, where Elana was baptized and confirmed, though Mohammed refused to attend required premarital counseling sessions. What appeared publicly as a successful medical power couple masked a relationship defined by systematic abuse and control. Mohammed completely controlled every aspect of the family's lives and was a tyrant, according to Elana Fric's court testimony. Despite being a successful family doctor, Elana did not even have a bank account in her own name. The first major incident occurred in May 2005, about a month after their first child's birth. Mohammed physically assaulted Elana, splitting her lip, and threatened both her and their infant daughter. Ottawa police charged him with assault and uttering death threats, leading to an 8-month separation. The charges were withdrawn in July 2005 through a peace bond with 12 months probation, counseling requirements, and weapons restrictions. Detective Andy Singh of the Toronto Police Service would later reveal, in May 2005, Ottawa Police Service investigated what at the time was an assault investigation, and it was between Elana and Mohammed. And what Elana had told the police officers at the time was that she had been assaulted by Mohammed and she had received injuries to her face. The pattern of abuse escalated throughout their marriage. Court testimony revealed years of abuse, including repeated incidents of choking until she passed out and repeated sexual assaults. Mohammed routinely called Elana fucking bitch and stupid fucking bitch, verbal abuse overheard by her parents. He would push away food she cooked, saying, "This is shit," and called her mother a cow. When Elana gained weight after pregnancies, he criticized her appearance relentlessly. Mohammed's control extended to every aspect of daily life. During their time at Duke University, 2005 to 2008, while he completed his PhD, Elana was responsible for childcare, groceries, furniture assembly, and even changing light bulbs. She chauffeured Mohammed everywhere because Mo doesn't really like driving. He controlled her social media accounts. She told friends, "Don't believe what you see on Facebook," calling it Fakebook. He made her unfriend people he disapproved of and required her permission to buy even a Globe and Mail subscription, which he denied. The couple's social media presence showed a union that appeared idyllic, relentlessly happy, even enviable. They're smiling for the camera, hugging affectionately on beach holidays, pictured with their young children. Elana even tweeted in February 2015, "Been a great 13 years, looking forward to the next 50, but friends knew the truth." Elana told one friend, "My relationship isn't what people think it is, if they only knew." Professional colleagues noticed concerning dynamics. Dr. Alison Kaufman observed Elana trying to be the perfect wife and mother while being adored by patients. Friends questioned why Elana drove Mohammed everywhere and handled all domestic responsibilities, despite both being successful physicians. The imbalance of the Shamji marriage struck some of their friends as strange. During Mohammed's 2011 fellowship in Calgary, Elana discovered he was having an affair. Despite this betrayal, the pattern of reconciliation and continued abuse persisted. As Elana's career flourished in 2015, moving from a walk-in clinic to the family medicine unit at Scarborough Hospital and becoming an OMA delegate, tensions with Mohammed increased. Her professional success seemed to threaten his need for complete control. The year 2016 marked a series of escalating incidents that would ultimately lead to Elana's murder. The pattern began in March 2016 during a family ski trip to Vermont. While stopping in Ottawa to drop their son at Mohammed's parents' house, Elana suffered a severe cut to her right palm, requiring surgery. Alarmingly, she gave multiple conflicting stories about how the injury occurred, telling her parents she was slamming a glass down on the counter and shattering it, telling someone else she cut her hand while chopping vegetables, and telling another friend a glass had broken while she was doing the dishes. These inconsistent explanations for injuries represent a classic domestic violence red flag. In May 2016, Elana discovered Mohammed was having an affair with a woman he'd previously been involved with. This discovery prompted her to post anonymously on a Facebook group for physician mothers. "I'm living each day as though it is normal, but I am dead inside," she told a friend. "If I apply for divorce, he will try to destroy me," but began divorce proceedings anyway after years of unhappiness. Mohammed resisted the divorce, pleading for reconciliation and more time to better himself in the marriage. Elana abandoned the proceedings, agreeing to give him another chance. Throughout summer 2016, the marriage continued to deteriorate despite the reconciliation attempt. Elana gave up on the marriage for good and began an affair with a fellow doctor. Mohammed continued to resist any talk of separation while confirming his wife was having an affair. The definitive breaking point came in October 2016 when Mohammed sexually assaulted Elana. This incident, confirmed by Elana Fric's testimony, was the final straw. Elana Fric testified that Elana told me that until that time she had thought it was best for the children for her to continue to stay with him, but that she finally realized that in fact it was best for the children for her to leave. Court testimony also revealed that Mohammed had previously choked her during an argument until she passed out. Following the October assault, Elana formally retained a divorce lawyer and disclosed the serious assault by her husband. When Mohammed again pleaded for more time, asking to wait until after the holiday season for the sake of their children, Elana agreed, but privately told her lawyer about the assault. Court documents show Elana started divorce proceedings numerous times in the months before her death, with Mohammed consistently resisting and pleading for more time to better himself. Elana's fear was prophetic. She told a friend, "If I ever go missing, or if something ever happens to me, you will know who did it." She feared Mohammed would try to destroy her if she filed for divorce, but believed he wouldn't hurt her because it would jeopardize his career. On November 24, 2016, she emailed colleagues, "Sorry for being so absent these past few months. I am in the process of separating, divorcing my husband, and things at home are chaotic." On November 28, 2016, divorce papers were formally served to Mohammed via email, requesting full financial disclosure. The timing was critical, exactly 2 days before the murder. After being served, court documents show things were volatile in the matrimonial home, and Mohammed was imposing himself on her in an attempt to change her mind. The brutal murder of Dr. Elana Fric occurred on the night of November 30th, 2016, while their 3 children, ages 11, 8, and 3, slept in their North York home. The immediate trigger was Mohammed's inability to accept the divorce papers served just 2 days earlier. Despite Elana emailing her lawyer after serving the papers that he is having a hard time accepting things, but there is no violence currently. Court documents show Mohammed had been attempting to change her mind about the divorce in the volatile days following. The couple argued in their bedroom during the evening hours. Their 11-year-old daughter Jasmine was awakened by the sounds of her parents arguing in the adjacent room. What she witnessed next would haunt her forever. Jasmine heard banging, her mother scream, and then silence. During this attack, Mohammed struck Elana multiple times, causing significant blunt force injuries all over her body, including a broken neck and broken ribs. The method of murder was particularly brutal. Mohammed used a rear naked chokehold, he was trained in jiu-jitsu, and manually strangled Elana to death. The official cause of death was blunt, compressive neck injuries as a result of choking, plus strangulation and blunt force trauma. When Jasmine went to investigate the noises, she witnessed crucial evidence. She saw her father pull up the quilt to cover something, and noted he appeared shaky and panicky. Mohammed ordered her back to bed when she entered the room. Later, she heard rustling sounds from the closet where suitcases were kept. When she checked again, she witnessed her father walking from the walk-in closet. When Jasmine asked what was happening, Mohammed told her, "My mom had gone for a walk." She found this explanation strange because I didn't hear her walking down the stairs. As she later testified, "Then I was upset and I went back to my room and went to sleep." Court records note that the eldest daughter will never forget her mom's last scream, which Jasmine heard on the night of November. After the murder, Mohammed began the methodical disposal of his wife's body. He packed Elena's body into her own large suitcase, a piece of luggage her mother had given her that still bore a tag from their last family trip to Croatia with their ancestral town address. He then drove approximately 35 kilometers north of Toronto to dump the suitcase in the Humber River near an underpass in the Kleinburg-Vaughan area, specifically near Howland Drive and Nashville Road, west of Highway 27. When Elena's body was eventually found, she was barefoot and dressed in her pajamas. In a final act of cruelty, nearly all her hair had been cut off in ragged hacks. Her face was so swollen from the beating that her mother Anna didn't recognize her. Her father Joe had to identify the body, saying through tears, "That is my daughter." Mohammed Shamji's behavior after murdering his wife demonstrated the same cold calculation he brought to neurosurgery. Within 5 hours of killing Elana, he began texting her phone, pretending he didn't know where she was. His message read, "Good morning. Not sure where you are. I guess I will get kids ready and take them to school. Plough's call." The deception began immediately with his own daughter. When 11-year-old Jasmine entered the bedroom after hearing her mother's screams, Mohammed told her mother was out for a walk and ordered her back to her room. The next morning, he maintained this facade by making breakfast for the children and taking them to school as normal. Most remarkably, Mohammed returned to Toronto Western Hospital the very next morning and performed surgeries as scheduled. Court facts established that he lied to just about everyone he came into contact with as to his missing wife's whereabouts. Colleagues had no indication anything was wrong. He maintained his typical professional demeanor while systematically deceiving everyone around him. Mohammed's lies extended to Elana's family. According to court testimony, he told Elana Fric that her daughter had packed a suitcase before going to see her lover. This was a deliberate lie designed to deflect suspicion and create a false narrative about Elana's disappearance. When Anna and Joe Fric arrived at the house after reporting Elana missing, Mohammed greeted them, saying, "So you're the ones who called the police." Perhaps most calculated was Mohammed's attempt to frame Elana's lover. Court evidence showed he planted evidence including phone messages calculated to point the finger at his wife's lover. He told police the last time he saw her was that Wednesday night when she left with her boyfriend, and provided the lover's name to police as an alternate suspect. According to Detective Steve Ryan, he was pointing the finger of blame at his wife's lover. During police interviews, Mohammed maintained his deception. He claimed Elana had left with her lover on Wednesday night, and refused to look at crime scene photos when confronted. Notably, he never reported his wife missing. Her mother, Elana Fric, filed the missing person report when she didn't receive her daily phone call from Elana on December 1st. The systematic nature of Mohammed's deception extended to financial manipulation. Court filings showed he moved $640,000 from his professional corporation to his lawyer's trust account, marked legal fees, attempting to control family assets while in custody. Even the disposal of Elana's body carried symbolic cruelty. Detective Ryan noted that Mohammed chopped at her hair on an angle to make her look as ugly as he could possibly make her. As the court established, he lied about his missing wife's whereabouts and planted evidence calculated to point the finger at somebody else and cover his own tracks. Dr. Elana Fric's body was discovered on December 1st, 2016, at approximately 3:30 p.m. by a passerby walking near the Humber River in Kleinburg, Ontario. The body was found stuffed inside a large suitcase that had been dumped beside the river, approximately 35 kilometers north of Toronto. The suitcase still bore a luggage tag from a previous trip to Croatia, with Elena's family's ancestral town address, a crucial detail that would help with identification. The discovery came after Elana Fric reported her daughter missing when she didn't receive her daily phone call. Toronto Police 11th Division officers secured the scene before York Regional Police took over the investigation. Homicide investigators were called when it was determined the death was criminal in nature, with Detective Sergeant Steve Ryan becoming the lead spokesperson and Detective Sergeant Andy Singh leading the investigation. The identification process proved traumatic for the family. Elana Fric initially couldn't recognize her daughter due to severe facial swelling from the beating. Joseph Fric had to make the final identification, confirming "that is my daughter" through his tears. The forensic examination revealed death by manual strangulation and blunt force trauma, with evidence of a rear naked chokehold technique consistent with Mohammed's jiu-jitsu training. Police investigators quickly focused on inconsistencies in Mohammed's behavior and statements. The most glaring red flag was that Mohammed never reported his wife missing despite her disappearance. He continued his normal routine, including performing surgeries the next day, while maintaining false communications by texting Elena's phone and lying to colleagues, friends, and family about her whereabouts. Detective Andy Singh and his team investigated Mohammed's timeline and discovered his systematic attempts to mislead the investigation. They found evidence of his efforts to plant suspicion on his wife's lover, his fabricated text messages, and his failure to show appropriate concern for his missing wife. According to investigators, Mohammed made one big mistake that served as a calling card, leading police directly to him, though specific details of this crucial clue were not fully disclosed. The evidence chain against Mohammed was overwhelming. Beyond the physical evidence linking him to the crime scene and victim, investigators documented his attempts to control the narrative with family and friends, his manipulation of their daughter Jasmine, and his staged evidence pointing to alternative explanations. His behavior immediately after the murder was completely inconsistent with an innocent person whose wife had disappeared. Mohammed Shamji was arrested on December 2, 2016 at 2 p.m. at a Timothy's coffee shop in Mississauga. Two plainclothes officers approached him at a corner table and quietly placed him in handcuffs. He was initially charged with first-degree murder and committing indignity to human remains. The prosecution built their case on the pattern of escalating domestic violence, Mohammed's history of assault charges from 2005, witness testimony from friends and family about the abuse, and the recent serving of divorce papers just 2 days before the murder. The physical evidence of extreme violence, broken neck, ribs, and strangulation, combined with Mohammed's deliberate attempts to mislead the investigation, provided overwhelming proof of guilt. Rather than face trial and force his 14-year-old daughter to testify as a key witness, Mohammed pleaded guilty to second-degree murder on April 8, 2019, the eve of his trial. Justice McMahon noted there was formidable evidence against premeditation for first-degree murder, but emphasized that the nature of the violence is extreme. The investigation succeeded because Mohammed's sophisticated attempts to cover up the crime and mislead police actually created more evidence against him. His failure to report his wife missing while maintaining a normal routine, combined with witness testimony from his daughter and the overwhelming physical evidence, built an unshakable case for conviction. Elana had died from strangulation and blunt force trauma. Her neck and ribs were broken from the savage beating she had endured. Fric was found to have died from strangulation and blunt force trauma. There were no signs that her death had been quick or painless. Detective Sergeant Andy Singh of the Toronto Police led the investigation. Within hours of discovering the body, attention focused on Mohammed Shamji. His story didn't add up, his behavior was suspicious, and investigators quickly uncovered the history of domestic violence in the marriage. On December 2, 2016, exactly 48 hours after committing the murder, Mohammed was arrested at a coffee shop in Mississauga. On Friday, December 2, 2016, Dr. Shamji was arrested by the Toronto Homicide Squad in Mississauga. He was sitting calmly with his brother and his lawyer when police took him into custody. The arrest sent shockwaves through Toronto's tight-knit medical community. Dr. Mohammed Shamji wasn't just any doctor. He was a world-renowned neurosurgeon, a respected colleague, and to many, the last person they would suspect of murder. But Detective Singh and his team knew better. They had seen this before. The successful, professional man who was a monster behind closed doors. Domestic abuse is a very important issue, Singh would later say. It's very important as adults, as citizens, that if we recognize abuse or recognize somebody going through it, you need to speak to authorities and you need to bring it to somebody's attention who will bring action. Mohammed was initially charged with first-degree murder and committing an indignity to human remains. He pleaded not guilty and prepared for a fight that would expose every detail of his violent marriage to public scrutiny. But as his trial date approached, the weight of evidence against him became overwhelming. For over 2 years, Mohammed Shamji maintained his innocence from his cell in a Toronto area detention center. His high-powered legal team prepared for what would have been one of Canada's most closely watched murder trials. On April 8, 2019, just days before jury selection was set to begin, Mohammed Shamji made a decision that surprised the courtroom. In a packed downtown Toronto courtroom, with his 2 eldest children seeing him for the first time since his arrest, he stood and changed his plea. Guilty, he said to the charge of second-degree murder. The plea sent ripples through the courtroom. Elana's parents, Anna and Joseph Fric, watched as the man who had murdered their daughter finally admitted his guilt. His children, now 14, 11, and 5, sat in the gallery trying to process the reality that their father had killed their mother. The guilty plea meant that Yasmin would be spared the trauma of testifying against her father. The Fric's lawyer, John DeMarco, said the family was satisfied with the plea. in part because it meant that Fric Shamji's eldest daughter and mother would not have to testify during the 5-week trial. But for Elana Fric, the plea brought no satisfaction. Speaking to reporters outside the courthouse, she said words that would haunt everyone who heard them. "Justice will never be for us. Never. The only justice we will have is if she can come back, and she will never come back." On May 8th and 9th, 2019, Ontario Superior Court Justice John McMahon presided over Mohammed Shamji's sentencing hearing. It was a proceeding filled with raw emotion, victim impact statements, and the heartbreaking testimony of a family destroyed. Elana Fric, Elana's mother, delivered a statement that left the courtroom in tears. "He has destroyed all of our lives. Elana was the child that every parent could hope for." Joseph Fric, approaching 74 years old, spoke of the anger he would carry for the rest of his life. "I am an old man, almost 74 years of age, so my loss will end before too long, but the loss of her children will go on for decades and decades." When it came time for Mohammed to address the court, his words rang hollow. "Somehow I turned my back on my oath and calling and took a life, Elena's life," he said. "I should have killed myself and not Elana." Justice McMahon sentenced Mohammed Shamji to life in prison with no chance of parole for 14 years. Fric was robbed of a wonderful life yet to be lived, McMahon said in a Toronto court. 3 young children have lost their mother forever. Mohammed Shamji was sentenced to life in prison.